Welcome to this week's Down Home with Tina. I've got my Veteran of the Month coming up first in the show, Mary Austin. She's very involved with a lot of different things in the community for veterans. As a matter of fact, not just here, she's been involved most of her, well, I want to say all of her adult life in some form of military. You're going to find out and hear her story in just a couple of minutes. And then I have a fella who is Russ. He is the author of a really cool book that I'm so excited to have him share with us, because it's one of my favorite words, and I'm not going to tell you any more than that, because I want you to you just have to be patient. Sometimes that's what it takes. Patience is it's not the word, but you'll see in a minute. You're watching Down Home with Tina.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. I have tried to get this lady on, and it is because she is a busy bee that she has not been able to make it, but we have finally made it happen, and it is because she is going to be, is my Veteran of the Month, Mary Austin. She is the chairperson for the upcoming Veterans Day Parade, going to take place, as it does every year, on November 11th in Lancaster. And Mary, oh my goodness, thank you so much for...
You're welcome. I've been trying this forever. Yes, I am very busy, with the different clubs and with work. And I'm on the burial squad, so we do funerals. I only do Saturday. But those guys go out and rain or shine. Sometimes we do 4 or 5 a day.
And Mary, just knowing the little bit of what you do, I'm so impressed, and I just look up to you for your energy and your dedication to our veterans. But let's begin with, you started out by joining the military.
Yes. Well, my father was in the military, and I was never good in school. My teachers tell me I would never make it past high school. And I strived, and I've always wanted to join the Army, and follow my father, even when I was little. So I did finally make it after taking the test 3 times, I believe it or not, because I hated school when I was a kid. Yeah. But I absolutely loved it and went all over the world. I mean, from Texas, I was a small girl from Hawaii, and I went from Hawaii to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri in the dead of winter. I mean, I had stomach flu the first 2 weeks. Aww. The drill sergeant kept saying, "Are you going to make it? Are you pregnant?" I'm like, "No, I'm not pregnant." And I struggled, but I made it through. And everyone always tells me, "You're not going to make it." I strive to do better and make it. Even in the service, when they sent me to leadership school, they said, "Well, we have to send her, but she'll probably fail out." I graduated with honors.
Did that just make you
motivate you?
Yes,
it just motivates you. And then they said I wouldn't stay past 3 months, and then I moved on to retire. And my little boy, I'm so proud of him. He went to Lancaster and Fisher. He said, "I'm never going into service, Mom. Never, ever." And believe it or not, he joined the Air Force, and he's in Alaska, and he absolutely loves it. He says, "I see what you mean about traveling and the different people that you meet." It's so exciting.
It is amazing. And then it could be years and years and years, and then all of a sudden, and I know with social media, I've caught up with old friends, and it's just like we picked up, and it was just yesterday that we were together.
Yes. It's amazing how many people recognize you. And unlike the men, being in the service, we change our names, get married. And my name in the service wasn't what it is now. And, it's weird running into people. I'm not even from Ohio, and I ran into several people that I served with in the Army. It's amazing.
What has been your favorite place to visit throughout your many years? In 25 years, you say, that you were active duty?
Cuba.
Cuba?
Yeah,
what
because
was so neat?
Well, we were there feeding the Haitian and Cuban refugees during their time, and it was just like amazing. We lived on a cruise ship, and it was like awesome. They brought in a Carnival cruise line for us to live on because there was no housing. Army people don't usually go to Cuba.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't go to Cuba. That's a Marine Corps base, a Navy. And they brought us in to feed the Cubans and Haitians during
Really?
during all the boat people coming across.
Oh my goodness.
And it was amazing. The funniest thing was when the Cubans got pissed off and they stormed the McDonald's.
Really?
Yes, there was only one place to eat in all of Cuba, and it was McDonald's. And you see the barbed wire and the guards guarding around McDonald's. They stayed in there 7 days, long enough to get their fill
of McDonald's. I don't even know if I could do a couple of days, but to prove a point, maybe they had to stay 7.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised when being deployed yourself. The things you crave. I craved Kentucky Fried Chicken the whole time I was in Cuba and Korea. The same.
Funny that you say that though, because it's chicken and basic training. It was on the menu.
Yeah.
Almost daily.
Daily.
Was it daily?
Daily. Yeah.
Why do we still love chicken and
I
crave
know.
it? Even when you know what I mean?
I know. It's the strange things that we crave. I mean,
know. That we have it over and over and over
funny.
again.
And I couldn't eat McDonald's after Cuba like for 6 years.
I bet not, just because.
Yeah,
it
because
was
I
the
ate
only.
it every day, and that was it. You either ate on the ship or you ate at McDonald's, But the ship food was awesome until one of the lieutenants put the 0 in the wrong place and ordered 2 million hot dogs. So they were sticking hot dogs in everything.
Sorry, that's gonna be one of your worst memories? Or
Yes, hot dogs. And I love hot dogs now, but hot dogs and scrambled eggs, hot dogs on pizza, spaghetti.
Mary, that's kind of funny. That is a humongous amount of hot dogs. I couldn't even imagine.
Yes, I know.
So what has it been like since you have been retired? And well, first off, have you always been involved with veterans organizations, even throughout your active duty career?
Yeah, for my active duty, I always had 2 jobs. I worked at like rec centers to help the soldiers, and entertain and everything, plus being in the Army during the day. I've always been active and involved. My father started it years ago. My son's been a member of the American Legion Sons for 25 years, and he's 24 years old. So the day he was born, my father signed him up.
Aww.
And we're just following in his footsteps. I was the first female commander of the Legion, and I'm the commander of the VFW. We were having trouble with this parade, and the 2 commanders, because there's 2 VFWs in town, we decided I'm the chairman, and Doug Kemp, who's been on your show.
Doug, yes.
He is my co-chair.
Oh, he is for the parade, and I'm glad that you said that, because it's a great segue into talking about the parade the last few minutes of this segment. So let's talk about it and what's going to happen on November 11th.
Well, it's going to be on November 11th. We always start on the fairgrounds, and we go straight down Broad to the corner of Broad and Main, and there'll be a small ceremony. This year we're so excited because Mount Pleasant School is going to bring out all 520 children, and it's going to be so awesome. And we invite every veteran to come and be in the parade because the kids love it. We don't throw candy. We don't allow any businesses to be in the parade. Because it's all about veterans.
Yep.
No subway, no nothing. But if you're honoring a veteran, you could put your van or car in there and stuff like that. Yeah. So if you're going to be honoring like a World War II veteran or something, we've had nursing homes put a World War II veteran in there.
Now, those who want to be and participate in the parade, do they need to reach out to you ahead of time?
No, they just show up. We have plenty of room on mostly all the floats, or if they want their car in there, that's the only stipulation. But you can reach me at least about 10 minutes before. We'll find a room for a veteran.
Alrighty.
Like girl days,
Yes,
just stick them on in there.
You had invited me before we got started here on the show, and I'm so excited to be a part of
we're
it this
so
year.
excited to have you.
It's going to be a good time. And I was like, just throw me wherever you want me. So
the guys laugh at me because I've kicked the sheriff and the mayor out of the parade because they're not veterans.
Oh. But you know what? If you're not a veteran, of course, they could stand along the parade route all the way through past Mount Pleasant,
past
all
Mount
the way
Pleasant,
down.
all the way down. It's not a very long or big parade, but it means a lot to the veterans that are there.
Absolutely. So it goes right to downtown, correct?
Yes,
and then
downtown. And then at downtown, there's to be a ceremony. We're going to lay the wreath in honor of all veterans, where all their monuments are. And that ceremony, if you don't want to be in the parade, you can go there, and it starts at 11.
Okay.
You know, but we welcome everyone. There's always a space for any veteran, no matter what.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So with that, because we've only got, I think, just about a minute or so left, you being my Veteran of the Month, I have some goodies in here for you.
Ooh, I love goodies.
We have well, I think extra goodies too. I don't know. But I have, I say I don't know. Yeah, I'm like, Pizza Cottage, I got a certificate for that. And Buffalo Wild Wings. Also Downtown Bistro and a gift card for Ava Jewelers, as well as some yummy little treats and cookies, because I always have cookies and tea and a mug. Just goody, funny stuff. Just thank you so much, Mary, and for everything that you have done in your entire life. It sounds like it has been something that you just love to do. It's a passion of yours.
Yes.
And what has been your very favorite thing?
Seeing the faces of the kids as they come and raise the flag, and they always put their hand over their heart when they see the flag, and you always should do that no matter what. And you're training them from the young age. I've spoken at several schools, and it's just amazing. And meeting you was my favorite thing. I know, fellow veteran.
You too. Oh, you just an Army, both Armies. Go Army. Okay, we're gonna go. Mary, thank you so much for everything, honey. And I will be back, folks. You're watching Down Here with Tina.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area, where the fountain is, and the memorials, and the flags, and all the stuff. And I looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. And the employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Welcome back to the Down Home with Tina show. I have got a fellow who I just learned out about within the last week, I think. I don't even know if it's been a week. And it was a wonderful fella who just said, hey, there's this guy I know, and you had texted me and said, hey, so-and-so said to give you a holler, yada, 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 yada. You wrote a book, it's about hope, and I go, oh my gosh, this is meant to be. Hope is like my favorite word in the English language dictionary, whatever you want to call it. Russ, this book? Tell us all about this book, because it's really cool. Because I've started to read it because I just got it recently, and I love it, and I can't put it down. And I had to stop because there's so many emotions that it brings that I'm like, I got to stop right now. I gotta stop right now.
I love that.
So
well,
let's talk about it.
First off, it's cool to be here. And second off, we have something in common because hope's my favorite word.
Awesome.
To me, hope is the thing that our society needs more than anything right now.
Absolutely.
Especially over the last 18 months. I've heard it said that, I don't know if you've heard of the survivor's rule of 3, that a human being can survive up to 3 months without companionship, up to 3 hours in extreme temperature, up to 3 minutes without air, but they can't survive 3 seconds without hope. And so to me, hope is the most important ingredient for the human soul.
Wow. Yeah. No.
And so for me, the book, it really just came, I've always believed and been fascinated by the whole concept of hope and the power of hope. But really, the book came out of a painful season where I felt like my hope was low. And so it was out of that season that I really felt like I learned maybe some tools of how to fill up my hope bucket. Yeah. And then it was through that I was like, man, if there's some things that I can share with others to help fill up their hope bucket, why not?
And I do. I think that all throughout our lives, we have so many different things that we experience that you have to have hope. You have to have hope to keep going.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, I mean, what is the purpose of living? I feel that a hope for a better tomorrow, a hope for a better day, hope for a better minute. You know what I mean? A better everything. I don't know. That's how I've always believed in that. And I think that started when I was a kid, when my grandmother talked to me about prayer. I mean, that's where my hope came from, was through prayer. Right. Because I constantly prayed. It's one of those things where when I picked up the book and I started reading it, I thought to myself, holy cow, this is going to open my eyes to a lot of different things because of the different, and you reference it as to seasons in life. Yeah. Why did you think that was the best way to have the book about the different seasons?
Yeah, I think for a few reasons. So, the book, Hope for the Wilderness, the whole thought is we all go through different seasons in life, and one of those seasons is the wilderness. All of us have, I say this, every human being, I don't know if this is encouraging or not, has either just come out of a wilderness season, is in one, or is about to go in one.
Absolutely.
And a wilderness season is simply a season that it could be a painful season. It could be a season of waiting. It could be that painful gap of, I'm believing for this dream to come true, but why hasn't this happened yet? Why hasn't this prayer been answered yet? It could be a season after divorce. It could be a season of sickness. It could just be a season. A lot of our wilderness seasons for me have been internal. There's those internal wilderness seasons where everything seems okay on the outside, but on the inside, I'm low on hope, I'm low on vision, I'm low on joy. We all go through those seasons, and the question is not, will you go through it? The question is, how do you survive it? And how do you, first off, not make decisions in the wilderness that create a bigger wilderness? But also, how do you get to, so the way I describe the book is it's kind of half memoirish, half my story of my wilderness season, and then half from a faith perspective of the children of Israel, how I believe in the Old Testament God brought them out of Egypt, out of slavery, out of a horrible season, sent them to the promised land, but in between was this wilderness season. And the way they navigated the wilderness, that first generation never even made it to the promised land. So on the back of the book, it actually says everyone goes through a wilderness, but not everyone makes it to the promised land. So,
and why? And that's what is...
Yeah.
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 No, I'll let you go on.
No, so it's obviously you can tell I'm excited about it because I really believe in the message, and I know that I'm sure there's people even going to watch today or that all over the world that their hope is really, really low. And when it's low, dangerous things can happen, and your joy dies, and your relationships die, and your future can die. And so the power of keeping hope alive is really the power to make it into not just tomorrow, but into the future.
Did you ever hesitate one bit because of being an executive pastor at a church that people would question you and say, what? But you're a pastor. How can you write these things if this is internal? You know?
Oh,
Did
absolutely.
you think about that?
Oh, there's a whole lot of psychological barriers in writing it. On one extreme, there was this insecurity because some of it's about pain. So on this one extreme, I had this insecurity of, well, I haven't been through what so many other people have been through. So many other people have had it way worse. So I had to work through that psychological barrier. Then the other barrier on the other extreme is I have a past and I've not been perfect.
And it's okay, because who is?
Right. So I had to work through those two. But I think a couple things help. One, that the church I'm a part of is a very authentic church. We value being real. We value being human.
Perfect.
We value the reality that even leaders are flawed, imperfect human beings.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was a risk to take to put some of those things in there. But I've always believed this, that you can impress people with your strengths, but you connect with people through your weaknesses.
Is it easy for you to be vulnerable because you had to be vulnerable in this book?
Well, it was easy when I first started writing it because I started writing it out of pain, so it was kind of cathartic and therapeutic. On the backside, there's a story or two in particular. The whole book writing process was actually over the course of 5 years.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a story at the end that all along I had said that was not going in there. That's too vulnerable. That's too risky. And it wasn't until the last minute that my lead pastor, my boss, and a few of my friends were like, no, it needs to go in there. And now I can't imagine not having put it in there. But that part, there's a particular story in there, and when people read it, they'll know what it is.
Writing the book, did you overthink? Do you believe in a lot of it, or no? Did you just kind of just threw it out there?
Yeah, I'm a classic overthinker in ways.
Me too. That's why I asked that.
But the painful part, I don't know if this answers the question, was the pruning process. Mm-hmm. Because the typical nonfiction is 50 to 75,000 words. When I finished my first manuscript, it was 120,000 words. So when I was writing it, I was like, I'm just going to write. I'm going to be intentional, but I'm going to put everything out there that I can think that would help people.
Yeah.
But then I had to
scale back.
I had to cut 40,000 words.
How did you make that decision on what was going to be the right thing to keep and not?
Yeah, so I had to decide what's the controlling narrative and is there anything that doesn't fit in there. And then the other part was I'm a really big believer in the power of feedback. So even before I sent it off to professional edits, I sent it off to peers that I really respected and had them give me their feedback of what's not essential, what's helpful, what's good but could be cut. And I literally had them tell me, okay, if I could cut one chapter, if I could cut one part, what would it be?
Can you lead up just a little bit onto what your life was like when you were a child, or do you want to save that for the people to read the book, to lead into all of this?
Yeah, I mean, a quick snapshot. I was born and raised in Greenville, South Carolina. So some people say they can hear my twang a little bit. And honestly, I didn't realize how fortunate my childhood was. So I have actually a great story of childhood, incredible parents, great upbringing. So some of my wilderness that came in was self-inflicted and just some poor decisions I started making early in life, even though I really had an encounter with faith that changed me forever. But then I started traveling. I got into ministry, and just there were some great things that happened, but also some disillusionments. Mm-hmm. So I studied in Argentina for a year, did some missionary work, learned Spanish, then went part of a church plant for 5 years in Lexington. It was great, but some really painful, tumultuous things happened. The church plant ended up falling on my shoulders during a really dark season for me internally. Then I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, in ministry there for 5 years. Same thing happened. The leader left. A church fell on my shoulders during an even darker season. And I won't give away all the details other than to say that circumstances, externally and internally, set me up for a wilderness season.
Russ, everybody goes through it. Everybody goes through
Absolutely.
a tough time, and it's getting out of it and finding that hope to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And even me myself, I mean, I go through it. Some people go, oh no, she's the happiest, most positive person. Oh no. I mean, I've seen death. I've seen people afflicted with cancer. I've seen divorce. I've been divorced. I know what that pain is like.
Yeah.
And it is a season that you go through.
Right.
I like to use this as an example, and I was going to make it my positive quote. I said that earlier, but I think this is so appropriate with it. We have seasons.
Yeah.
We have begin spring, summer, fall, and winter. We have to see that as especially fall. Fall is when our sunshine begins to go away. And it gets dreary. I'm one of those people, if I don't have my sunshine for 3 days, I'm just like, I want my sunshine. I know it's coming. I have hope. It'll be out. And then it's out. And I'm like, there's my sunshine. So what we have to remind ourselves in that time of, and I'm just using this in a different way of seasons, the actual season, is to be prepared. To know where to go for your good.
Yeah, that's good.
In that moment of where's my sunshine?
That's good.
Who is my sunshine? Write this out now. Do it now, because it's going to not that I think negatively.
Right.
But there are going to just be experiences that you have that if you can just remind yourself, hey, you know what, I need to call so-and-so, and I just need to call them up without going into detail and saying I'm having a bad day. Make me laugh.
Yeah,
because they're the ones that make you laugh. You
Absolutely.
know? And for you and I mean, I pray a lot as well, so that helps me, but also I like to have somebody on hand.
Yeah.
That whole people thing.
Oh, yeah.
I got to have my people.
I like to say it this way, the people that you have in your caravan going through the desert will be the people that pull you back to Egypt or take you to the promised land.
That's exactly right. And if they're not there for when you are in that desert, then you need to figure out a way to limit your time with them.
Yeah, I agree.
I say that?
Yes.
They can be friends, they can be family, and you can love them forever. But you need to, they're not going to be the ones that are in the depth of that valley and that hole with you.
100%.
Yeah. So anything, we've only got a couple of minutes. I know I could go on and on because again, the word hope is my favorite.
No, I love it. I just think, I think just really something simple that everybody needs to hear at some point is Minion McLaughlin, I think that's how you say her name, she once wrote this. She said, the definition of hope is that the feeling you have is not permanent. It's the feeling that the feeling you have is not permanent. Because hopelessness is when, this is what happens in deep depression, even people that tragically take that next step to take their lives, is the despair is so large that it shrinks that moment into the eternal end of things. And so I had a youth pastor that during my really angsty, painful seasons of life, he would look me in the eye and he would tell me, son, you need to know that the way you feel now, you won't feel this way forever.
Yes.
And people need to hear that are really low on hope. That hope is the feeling you have, that the feeling you have is not permanent. You won't die in the desert. Hold on to God. Surround yourself with people that you love. There is a promised land on the other side if you will just walk through it.
Okay, big goosebumps. So, how do they get the book? It's Russ Moore, Hope for the Wilderness.
Hope for the Wilderness, Russ Moore. Amazon's the best place. It's available, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble online, but Amazon's the best place.
Okay. And you also have places that you can take notes, each chapter.
I try to make
that.
it not just for enjoyment, but engagement. So that people can invest and write and journal. And
I know we're out of time. Folks, thank you. Thank you so much, Russ. Good luck with everything. I hope you read it. I'm loving this. It is just, hopefully I'm not puffy-eyed the next time you see me. Not that it's sad. It just is a big, reality check. I'll be back in a minute. It's Down Home with Tina.
Life is unpredictable. That's why estate planning is important. Estate planning provides you comfort and peace of mind knowing that you're taking care of your loved ones and ensuring your legacy lives on just as you envisioned. You lived a life that is beautifully and uniquely yours. You deserve an estate planning attorney who understands that and creates a plan as unique as you and in the best interest of your loved ones. You deserve the local, trusted, experienced attorneys at Dagger Law.
Welcome to the high school football game of the week. I'm Jaron Stewart alongside Tim Shoemaker. Tonight, we've got a great one for you. The Bloom Carroll Bulldogs.
It was great week of practice. Even in the rain and the weather, we had a great week of practice.
Schneider, lots of running room to midfield. He's gone. Russ Schneider down the near sideline for a touchdown for the Aces.
We have a hold on the offense, number 20. That penalty will be declined. They'll bring up fourth down.
And we're going to give you this game ball here because you're a Tiberios fan of the game. And thanks for being here, Jacob.
Thank you. The Polar Bears are your OAC tournament champions. First time since 2009. What an exciting finish for the Ohio Northern Polar Bears.
And be very proud of this trophy because you have earned it.
It's Down Home with Tina, and it is brought to you by these wonderful sponsors. Folks, I just want to leave you today with a positive quote. Something that is so very important, as it was I said earlier in the show, hope is one of my very favorite words. And all my life, I've always tried to think positively, see the positive in everything that we do, because there's just going to be those times and those moments in our life that we just have no control over. And the only thing that we can just keep in mind is at the end of the tunnel is a bright light and sunshine. And that, folks, is what I mean by having hope. Don't ever doubt yourself, because when you do that, as Pastor Moore had mentioned a couple of minutes ago, you just lose. I think you lose life is what you do, and I don't want you to ever do that. I want you to have and live the best life possible. Always, always, always have hope. God bless, and until we meet again next week, good day. Down Home with Tina.